How to tackle Trump tariffs. Thursday onwards, nearly all Indian exports to US will face a 25% tariff on the top of standard US duties, plus an additional penalty fee. As such, India now faces one of the highest US tariff rates among Asian exporters, second only to China and far above Vietnam, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Japan and South Korea. With US, our largest market, accounting for $86.5 billion or 20% of Indian goods exports last official, the impact is severe. If these high tariffs stay in place, India's export to US could fall by 30% to $60 billion in the current financial year. Labor intensive sectors will be hit the hardest as shrimp exports $2 billion now face a 25% duty. Garments and home textiles $8.4 billion are taxed at 34 to 39% and jewelry at 27.1%. Duties on metal exports can go up to 51.7%, while engineering goods like machinery and auto parts will face an 26%. Petroleum, pharma, and smartphones are currently exempt but could be targeted later. Increasing exports to other countries to reduce losses won't be easy, as the world is shifting from open to managed trade, driven by politics, security, and environmental rules. For example, EU, which bought $75.7 billion worth of Indian goods, will impose a carbon tax on Jan, hurting steel and aluminium exports. These are already down 24.4% this year due to re-exporting requirements. India farm products will soon face taxes under EU's deforestation law, and similar measures will likely apply to most agricultural and industrial goods. As US and EU tighten access to their markets, more countries may follow. With India's global markets becoming harder to access, India's current export basket needs diversification. It's time to stop overvaluing trade policy and start prioritizing product strength. India's export boom in 1990s happened not because of the trade deals, but because it offered the right product at the right price across traditional and modern sectors. We can start by modernizing traditional sectors and parallelly work on high-tech sectors. For example, many hand, hand for example, many handicrafts have outdated designs and century-old production methods. Even as global tastes evolve, in apparel, we miss out on 70% of the world market. Winter wear, fashion wear, and sportswear, mainly because we find it difficult to import the input materials. Rising input and production costs could have made deep manufacturing inviable in many sectors. So we remain stuck in low value activities like assembling imported components. At the same time, policy choices that protect a few large players in the textile, chemical, and steel hurt thousands of MSMEs and hold back entire industries from reaching their full potential. While we look back at 1990s as a turning point where India opened up its economy, we often ignore what China was doing then, securing lithium and cobalt mines in Chile, and Congo, and investing heavily in future industries solar, electric vehicles, electronics, toys, pharmaceuticals, apparel, machinery, and chemicals. India, by contrast, did little and is paying the price for that inaction. India must now change courses, invest in future ready sectors, remove barriers to input access, unleash MSMEs by reducing GST burden, and put product design and development at the heart of its export strategy. Here are three suggestions for quick results on exports and forex earnings. First, bring back the interest equalization scheme, which was discontinued last year despite costing just 2,500 crore annually. It offered up to 5% interest relief on the loans for export orders, helping MSMEs especially get cheaper, globally competitive finance. Reviving it with a higher annual budget of 15 crore rupees and a 5-year commitment, not just short-term renewals, will cut products cost and give exports an immediate boost. Second, implement the UK FTA and fast track talks with EU and other partners, keeping expectations realistic. These deals are unlikely to boost exports significantly, as average tariff in these markets are already low, around 3 to 4%, and over half of the Indian goods already enter duty free. Further tariff cuts may offer only modest gains. Past FTAs show that import from partner countries tend to rise much faster than exports, which will likely continue. Third, India must act to unlock the full potential of its tourism sector, an area where gains could far outweigh losses from declining exports to US. In 2023, India earned just $70 billion from foreign tourists, as against Spain, $19.2 billion, Dubai, $31 billion, and Amsterdam, $31 billion. This gap exists not for the lack of heritage or attractions, but because of preventable issues. High hotel taxes, harassment of foreign women near tourist sites, and taxi unions exploiting visitors under political protection. India must overhaul the tourist experience, lower costs, ensure safety, and make the country more welcoming. If we fix this, tourism could become one of the most significant India's most significant growth and job creation engines. It's time for an honest conversation. A good start would be to listen and list our self inflicting wounds and fix them. By doing this, we can boot just not experts, but also job and growth across the economy.